That's some fun music. Good morning, everybody. It is Follow Me Live. I'm excited because I have on one of my former interns from Project Help You Grow. In fact, I'm going to bring her in right now. Her name is Sabrina Smith. Sabrina, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hi.
It's always good to have you anywhere doing anything that I'm involved with. So I'm excited to have you in today. We were talking yesterday, in case you guys are curious why Sabrina's on the show. We were talking yesterday about what do you want to call it? The frustrations, the struggles, the challenges.
Yeah.
It's really dang hard to find a job, isn't it? So
yeah, just a little bit.
yeah, so we're going to talk about that. So welcome, everybody. There's some question marks there. Apparently just wondering what the show is about. So hopefully I just answered that. Follow Me Live happens every single Friday. I'm starting to do this at the same time. In fact, I'm going to be putting out a schedule later today because I have actually now pretty much every day of the week, I'm on live somewhere. I'm on a show, I'm doing something. And so I want to give people the opportunity to know where I am, how to find me, and the different things that I work with. You can see the logos behind me. I have Project Help You Grow. Many of you are familiar with also Bowman Coaching. I help do social media coaching one-on-one sessions. And then I have, of course, the Exit Your Way, where we help people get more out of their business, both while they own it and when they're going to sell it. And then my main source of income now is Bowman Digital Media, which is my video, website, graphics, content creation, and sales consultation business. And anyways, if you have any questions about that, you can reach me at my website, which is bowmandigitalmedia.com. Sabrina was an intern for me very briefly because I got laid off. I wasn't expecting to get laid off. That was a surprise that threw me for a loop. So she joined me while I was intending to have this program go into perpetuity until we found people jobs. That was the idea. But I found with getting laid off and getting my business set up and going, I just didn't have the time, to be fair to the interns. So I ended the program. But Sabrina is an awesome person, and we've remained friends. And I'm still trying to help her as I can. And so we were talking yesterday about blog. So Sabrina,
it has not been started yet. We're in process, okay? I know.
That's okay. You know what?
We're still in process, but we are going to do something. I just feel like, I love the idea of having representation out there. I love the idea of, just having more voices to, be seen. Because a lot of people think that they're going through their struggles by themselves, and you're really not. There's more people that have like more experiences, and shared experiences help you feel, just a little bit better about what you're going through. So as a job seeker, as an African-American woman, as, all of these other facets to what I am, I feel like that's a good, platform to share. And there's more people out there like me. So.
And you're super awesome. Don't forget that.
Thank you.
Your list of attributes, don't forget that, because that's one thing I try to tell everybody when I'm talking about Sabrina, right? When people ask me, who's Sabrina? I say, you know what she is? She's a super smart, energetic, fun, real person. She's not all about herself. She's trying to keep the worldview in mind, which I really like. So I like talking to you, and that's why you're on the show today. So hopefully this will help you get some exposure. And to be fair, we did work on your blog for over an hour yesterday. So it's
Yeah, we did.
not like you're totally slacking. I just,
No, we started some idea talks and some conversations.
my job is to push, right, to get you out of your comfort zone. And
yeah, and trust me, for the people that are watching and the people that are going to watch later, his push, although it can be a little bit much, sometimes it's effective. Trust me, I can tell you this from experience. Follow me Friday. I've gained a lot of followers from this, so I'm telling you, you put the work in, it shows itself fruitful. Trust me, it's not going to leave you void.
It will definitely do that. And we're going to talk about that too, because I want to talk about, some of the lessons that I was teaching you guys in the intern program, because you've seen now the fruit of it. And so I want to kind of get into it, because I think that's really where a lot of the job seekers talking about that push that I give, that's not comfortable. I mean, it is, I make you work, right? But the rewards from it, you start to see them right away, because it makes you think in a completely different way. And you're more prepared than you've ever been before. A lot of people think they're prepared for an interview, and you go through my program, you realize, oh, wow, I was so unprepared. But that's what makes you so much better as a candidate moving forward, because everybody else is doing what they've always done, and you're doing more. And it just comes screaming through from the other side of the table. When I'm interviewing people who do the work that I teach you guys how to do, and you see it, you're like, wow, this person is serious. They know my business. And that's what most candidates don't do. They don't know the business that they're going to apply for. And if you take the time to learn it and learn about the person that's interviewing you, especially, now you're going to have that wow factor, even if you are an introvert, even if you are nervous, because the information's there. You might stumble on your first sentence. That's going to happen sometimes with nerves. But as you start to talk and you're there for more than a couple minutes, that information that you've prepared is ready. So
yeah,
let's do this. I don't want to hog the conversation, and I don't necessarily even want to direct the whole conversation. I want to give you a platform and let you speak. So I'm going to let you start, and maybe voice. Let's start with the job seeking world, because I would like to talk about some other global stuff too, because I think that people will be interested in that. And you and I have talked about it enough that I think we can do it in a cool way that people might benefit from. But let's start with the job stuff, because I think that's where we met. That's how we met, right?
Right.
So through the whole Project Help You Grow process, I taught you guys a bunch of stuff, and I had you working on different things. What's the number one thing that you learned throughout the project that you could, if you could, give to other people to give them that help? What's the thing?
Oh God, that's keyword matching, honestly. That makes it so much easier to do and so much easier. Like I at least spend at least a good 2 days doing my resume and cover letter together. And that's only because I'm a perfectionist a little bit. So I have to read it over like at least 3 or 4 times to make sure that it's like making sense to me, and that I'm not, saying too much or not saying enough, all those pieces. I'm anal like that. But keyword matching pretty much saved my entire life, because all I gotta do is just edit a few words. The resume is pretty much done. All I gotta do is write the cover letter. That's probably the most writing that I have to do, because it makes it so much easier. And applying for the jobs that you're actually qualified to do makes things so much easier. People are trying. I get everybody wants to. Some people do want to switch careers, and in that case, you would have to, not necessarily up your skill set, but just kind of transform your skill set into what actually are the attributes that actually could work for this field.
Yeah.
And in those cases,
because you are doing that in a sense, you graduated from school, right? Mm-hmm. No experience, and you're gaining experience. You want to talk about how?
Gaining experience. Well, I'm doing a lot of internships right now. Internships are it is very interesting to do. I think that once you get out of school, you automatically think, or at least for me, I thought you you get out of school, you get the degree, you're going to get a job. It's already cemented, guaranteed. It ain't like that. And 2020 definitely threw us off for a loop. I can tell you that right now. So it's just something that, it's been helping me a lot, because not only do you get to learn from different people and different experiences and different, just types of groups and things. I love learning from all aspects. So whether you're a nonprofit, a for-profit, whatever type of company you are, I value mission, I value purpose, I value, those types of things overall in general. So internships definitely give you a way to, start, get your leg in there, build connections. Definitely building more connections always helps you. Volunteering definitely will help you as well, if you can find that also. But there's more than one way to do this, I think. And so everybody just has to find their way.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that. Okay, I want to now, this is me teaching a little bit. Okay, so when you're in school, I want you to think about what you're going to do when you graduate, before you graduate, right? Like, so you graduate in May, don't think about it in April. I want you to think about it. Let's say if you're starting school now as a freshman, I want you to start thinking about 2025 now. It's just like, okay, so right behind me, Exit Your Way. We help business owners sell their business, and we help them get more from their business when they sell. But it's a process, and it doesn't happen overnight. It takes usually somewhere between 12 and 18 months. But we tell business owners they should start thinking about selling their business as soon as they open their business, right? Not the day they're ready to retire. And this is one of the flaws with most students in school. They're so worried about graduating that they're not thinking about after graduation. It's like when I got married. We spent all this time thinking about the wedding day and not the marriage that's going to last so much longer if you do it right. You know what I mean? Than that one day. So for job seekers out there that are still in school, I implore you to think about what you're going to do after graduation for a career, and then start working on getting experience now. There's co-op programs, there's internships, go volunteer, community centers, religious organizations, any type of philanthropy. There are so many different organizations out there that you can pick one that fits your beliefs, your personality, right? I'm not saying go volunteer for something you don't believe in, but find something that you're passionate about where they need help. I promise you, they will put you to work. And internships don't have to be unpaid. There are paid internships too, right? Co-op programs. My daughter is going to get, she's going to school in the fall in Florida, and she's going on a work program. So she's going to work. They're going to pay her minimum wage while she works, but they're also giving her, the school is now, her fourth year, her senior year is going to be free, tuition free. You know what I mean? But she's getting experience because she could be working.
That's awesome.
The whole time. She's going to be employed the whole time. So she'll graduate, assuming she graduates on time. 4 years of experience with her degree. And now most of those quote unquote entry level jobs, which we're going to talk about that in a second, that's a misnomer. They're mislabeled. They're not entry level because you need 2 to 5 years of experience for a lot of them. So try to make sense out of that. Right? You were telling me about, tell the audience about that. You were telling me yesterday somebody got disqualified because they didn't have experience.
Yeah, I saw a post the other day. I'm not sure who posted it, but they were posting about their grievance of finding they got disqualified from an entry-level job at the last interview because of the fact that they didn't have enough experience. And it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, first of all, how many interviews do you need for an entry-level job? And then second of all, we're asking to gain experience. So what do you expect us to do if we can't gain experience? But it goes back to internships and volunteering, which is hard for a lot of people to do because a lot of them are not paid. And so the problem is that they want college kids because they don't got to pay college kids. They just give y'all credit and they get away with it. So, and I understand it. I was there too. But if I would have started having internships from the start of school to the end, I probably would have been a little bit better. But that is it. Life is what it is. So
Yeah. Okay. So that's the point, right? You graduate college, you think, okay, I've got this degree, I can write my own ticket. That's what it's
That's what they
bad.
tell you.
That's what they tell you, though, right? They teach you that in college, like, oh, you're coming to this prestigious school, and you're gonna, get your bachelor's. Or they lie to you even more and say, oh no, what you really need is your master's. Oh no, you know what you really need is your PhD. I have a friend that has 2 master's degrees and no real world experience and can't find a job. I'm telling you, this guy is so much smarter than me. It's ridiculous how smart he is. He's intelligent,
Right.
but he has no experience and he cannot find a job, especially now because he spent all that time and money going to school to get those pieces of paper. He needs a job that it's so unrealistic. It's like I wish I could have got a hold of him a long time ago and woke him up, right? Because
Right.
there's a lot of awakening that needs to happen in people's minds, right? So we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a bit too. But for this, it's like, look, if you're only working on your experience, you're being
Mm-hmm.
short-sighted. If you're only working on your education, you're being short-sighted. You need to do both because
Right.
the world is a competitive place, whether you like it or not. I don't care if
Right.
everybody gets a ribbon or we're going to work hard first place, second place is just the first loser, right? I mean, there's 2 extreme mindsets there. But either way, the world is competing because look, these companies have usually one position that they're trying to fill. And they've
Right.
got hundreds, if not thousands, of people that are applying for it. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
write your resume correctly and you don't even get through the ATS, they don't care. And I'll tell you why they don't care. It's not that they're insensitive. It's that the way that they're doing the process that they're using, they've been using it for a while, and it works for them enough to get a candidate that will fill the job adequately. Is it the best candidate doing it the way that they're doing it? Probably not, because people are not getting through the ATS. And we could talk about that for an hour all by itself. But the keywords that you just mentioned before, the lesson that I gave you with the keyword matching, and go to projecthelpyougrow.com and read the Keyword Ninjas article that I wrote, and you'll get the lessons that Sabrina's talking about because I lay it out for you real clear. And it's 100% free, by the way. You don't have to sign up for anything. You can't spend money even if you want to on Project Help You Grow. There's no shopping cart. There's no, pay here, sign up for this, level. There's no like free version and then upgraded version and then premium version and all this bullshit stuff, right? There's none of that. It's all free, 100%. Nothing on Project Help You Grow is for sale. You can't buy anything there. So don't worry about it. No money needed. Keyword Ninjas, the article will teach you how to use keywords, extract them from the job listing itself, infuse it into your resume where it makes sense, and get your keyword match score up so that you make the cut line. And this is the thing people don't realize. It's like if they say you've got to run a 40-yard dash in 4.5 seconds to be considered to be a wide receiver, and you run at 4.6, well, guess what? You're out. If you run at 4.5, you're in. 4.2, great. You see what I mean? So you've got to meet that minimum bar. And that bar, unfortunately, is not steady. So you can't just say, well, I need an 80% threshold because it depends on how many people apply for the job. So let's take this all the way to fruition. You apply for a job, and so does 1,550 other people. And they say, I'm going to interview 20, or I'm going to interview 25, or I'm going to interview 50. Well, you take however many they're going to interview, divide that by the total number of applications received, and the cut line is going to be whatever that percentage is. You see what I mean? So in that case, it's like the top 8% or 10% or whatever it is. You see what I mean? Like, you have to be really good at this keyword matching to even have a shot at getting an interview. A human being isn't even going to look at your resume unless you make that cut line. The only people that humans are going to look at are above the cut line. So those 20, those 25, those 50 people, however many they're going to interview. So if your keyword matching is off, you're out before you even start. So if you're not keyword matching, that's why you're not getting interviews. The other thing that Sabrina said, which is so, so, so important, you cannot change jobs and elevate your position through the ATS. You can still do it if you go the old school way of who you meet, which is one of the reasons why I keep doing Follow Me Fridays. I want you to meet more people, because if you meet a business owner or you meet a department manager who likes you, they can insert you around the ATS into the interview round. And now you can go from being non-management to management, or mid-management to upper management, whatever. You can elevate that way. That's the way it used to be, right? People would hit on you because, they saw your potential. But through a portal, through a job site board, even Project Help You Grow, if you're trying to go through the board, you have to read those job listing requirements and actually meet them. It can't be a stretch job for you. If you want to go stretch job, you have to go through a real person. You have to make a friend and get them to see that you could do the job. And then once you're in the interview round, you have just as good a shot as anybody else. Okay. The resume, really, the hindrance on the resume is getting to the interview round itself. Okay. As long as you're being interviewed by a person. There are companies out there, believe it or not, they're doing the first round of interviews via AI. If you are interviewing AI, so you're looking into a video camera and answering the questions that you're reading on the screen, you still need to meet all the criteria, right? So keywords are important there too.
I've actually never heard of that. I've always thankfully been interviewed by actual people, so I'm grateful for that, because that would make me really nervous if it was just questions on the screen.
I will tell you that I actually applied for a job. It was about 6 years ago. I think I applied for a job 6 years ago that happened to me, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any of this experience yet. I wasn't polished on video. I didn't have the practice that I have now. Like, if I could do it now, I think I'd do really well. But back then, I was perfect for that job.
Right.
I bet you if they could look at me now, they'd go, "Oh my goodness, I really wish we had that guy on our team." And I knew somebody at the company, but the interview was with a robot. So yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. Again, the companies will make a change the moment that they cannot get enough applicants to interview that are qualified. Then they will, people always ask me, why don't the companies take the time to fix it? There's obviously flaws in the system. There are. No system's perfect. Even democracy. We were talking about the United States government. Are we really great? Right? We were talking about that yesterday. It was an interesting conversation. But nothing's perfect, right? So obviously, you and I are both believers, so we know that people aren't perfect. But businesses, they don't feel the pain. Like, they're not feeling the job seeker's pain, right?
Yeah.
They're feeling a different kind of pain, which is they have a hole in their company. They need to fill a slot to do a certain thing. But, they're like, hey, I can't possibly interview 1,500 people. So if some of the people that get weeded out were good, but I can still interview enough people to find somebody decent for the position, that's why they don't make the change, because it would take them resources, time, money. They might have to buy more stuff, and they don't want to make that investment. Now, some of them, to be fair, do. I don't want to put everybody under one giant cloud. But the main reason why there isn't mainstream change across the board is because it would cost money to do it.
Right.
That old adage, why do we do that? That's the way we've always done it. I mean, people do fall into that, but it's uncomfortable to change. It requires work to change. It's easier to maintain a system than it is to fix a system. So, and then the other question, and this is, again, we were talking about the United States yesterday, which was fun and fascinating for me. But what do you do? How do you make it better? How do you get people to even get on the same page? Because it's easy to identify sometimes that there is a problem. It's harder to say, this is the way you fix it, and get everybody in the room to agree. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think one of the first steps with that, even with like you and me, we have our differences of the way we think, what we believe, whatever, but we don't let that stop our connection, our
Oh yeah.
our collaboration. We're not going to let that stop us. If people would just get on one accord to say, I can agree to disagree with you and still collaborate you and make something
Yes.
great, that
Yes.
would be a great start off,
Oh
just
my
at a
goodness.
minimum.
You're preaching now. Come on. Let's
Can we
go.
just do that?
Yeah. I mean,
I
this
would
is
be
this is the thing. It used to be. This is actually why I'm drawn to you, and I'm drawn to a lot of people, because I'm not looking for another Ira. I know what I think. I know how I feel. I know my experience, right? When I'm talking to you, especially about race relations, which we've talked about several times now, I want to know what it's like from your perspective. You're a woman, first of all, and I'm a man, so we're different straight out the gate. But then, of course, like you're African American. I'm not. I'm a mutt, to be completely transparent. Like I couldn't even tell you where my family ancestry is from. I know that I have Russian and German, and I have some of these things in me, but I can't tell you completely what I am. So I'm just a mutt. But I was born and raised an American as a white male, and I know a lot of people look at us as the evil person. We're the popular one to pick on right now, right? And I don't care. It is what it is, because I'm not sensitive. But it used to be that people would celebrate their differences and then try to understand the culture. Like you said something to me a long time ago, and I hope this is okay for us to talk about. But you're walking down the street and you see a police officer, and the way you think about that and what you do is different than the way I've never had that thought. And we talked about that.
right.
I've never had to like go, oh shoot, I should turn around, or I should maybe cross the street, because I don't know how they're going to react to me. Right? It's not how I think about them. It's I'm worried about what they're going to think and do to me. And
Yeah,
rightfully so. I'm not even saying that you're unjustified. It just, to me, that whole thing was like eye opening, like earth shattering, eye opening. Like, oh my God, that's not even right. That you have to think that way,
right.
and you're not hating anybody. You're just being real. Like, look, this is my reality.
Yeah,
And
it's just a thought that you have to kind of have, as and the more you I'll use this phrase, but I don't, the more you grow up in the skin that I'm in a melanated black skin, it's just like you have to think about certain things now.
yeah,
Gratefully for me, I've never had a bad experience with law enforcement, with anybody really attacking me personally like that, but I don't deny the fact that it happens.
yeah, it
So
definitely happened.
yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm aware of that fact, and I'm just conscious of it. I'm just like, okay, you know what? You might have to look, look where you are, look at your surroundings, making sure
well,
nobody's following you. Whatever happens wherever you are, just being aware of that. And I think just that awareness is just you don't
yeah.
have you don't have to live with that awareness, Ira, but I kind of do,
No,
just a
you're right.
little bit.
You're absolutely right, and there's nothing I can do to change it. So
Right.
all I can do now, you opened my eyes to that, because I have African American family. I don't know if I've ever told you that, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people know Anthony Norman. That's my cousin. We lived together for 2 years. Like we lived in the same room. We were brothers. Um, he and I were best friends. He's a year older than me, so I wanted to be him. I started running because he ran. You're right. So he was on the cross country team, and then I joined the cross country team just to be with my cousin. So, and three of my aunts all married African American men. So, I mean, I actually do have African American family, but obviously, I'm not living their life, even though we can share the same bedroom for 2 years, because we were both living with our grandparents. To be fully transparent, I didn't grow up wealthy, so
Right.
I was homeless as a child. I don't know if any of you know that, but I was. So my white privilege got me homeless. That was fun. But again, all the stereotypes. It is what it is. We all have a certain life experience, and we've all done certain things. But I could not ever pretend to understand what it is to live my life, even as a woman. My wife, I've been with her half my life now, right? I don't even understand what it is to be her. She's married to me. I don't think that's easy, to be honest with people, because I'm a workaholic. So, what I try to do in life is I try to understand what people are thinking. And I use this expression a lot: POV, or point of view,
Mm-hmm.
for the job seeker, for the employer, for the husband, for the neighbor, for the churchgoer, from every point of view, you could think about how do they think, how do they feel, how is this going to affect them? The more you can do that and try to come at this from the other person's point of view, I think you will be more successful at everything you do, right? Whether you're trying to find a job, or you want to manage your team, or you want to build a business. Like for me right now with Bowman Digital Media, it's still in its infancy stage, right?
Right.
I'm a couple months in. So what I'm trying to do is figure out, okay, who is it that would actually need what I do? Why would they need what I do? And what would encourage them to give me a shot? Right? So that's the kind of stuff that I'm thinking about as a business owner right now. And you and I talked about it. I said, I would love to hire you, but I can't afford you yet. My business isn't there yet. Right. But as a business owner, that's what I'm thinking about. Like, okay, I've got some people that I've identified, they're good talent, but I'm not in a position to bring them on. So,
And I told him I would work for free, but he said no. But
yeah,
that's only because I already built a rapport with him. So I invest in the vision of and the mission and the purpose of people and companies like that I know are of good stock. So that's just me in general. Yeah, I just think that back to gosh, I gotta remember back to your whole thought. It's just we gotta kind of learn to just kind of come together and
yeah,
just learn to be able to express our point of views and ultimately know that life in general is bigger than us.
yeah,
It really is, and that's something that I strongly believe, and I've been saying that for years. It's like everything I want to do, I want to make sure that it's bigger than just me, because my legacy is supposed to last beyond me. My legacy is generational. It's decades and decades past my own lifespan. But I want to leave something for other people to grab onto and say, okay, there's hope that we can do this too. There is, an example that we can do this too. And so those things are extremely important, at least for me.
yeah. Well, I think we were talking about this yesterday because it started with the statement, make America great again, and that friction that particular statement has, because of course people don't like Trump, and I get that, right? The Democrats versus the Republicans thing. So if you're a Democrat, you hate Trump, and if you're a Republican, well, you might not love him, because I don't, but
Well,
but anyway, but you know
there are
what I
some
mean?
people who are changing their tune right now. So I listen. There are some people who are changing their tune. So I'm like, okay, at
Yeah.
least people are seeing what there's just some stuff that's just blatantly bruh, what in the world is going on? Like we were
Oh, I
talking
know.
about the whole
I totally get it. And I hate to say it because this is going to encourage more negative politics, but I actually really like the negative commercials, in the sense like, okay, so Biden, I don't know if that guy knows what year it is. Honestly, I'm just, there's going to be people that hate me for that. But if you watch some of these commercials where they've cut up like his I don't know, it's like he's lost it for a minute, right?
they've cut up his
Yeah.
they
So,
edited the
it's
videos
like,
to make it seem like he's demented.
right. But they do the same thing with Trump. I think they're all funny. Like, you know what I mean? They make me laugh. I mean, those guys are intelligent. They're smarter than I am. I don't fall for the fodder, guys. You have to understand the media. I don't care which one you're watching. They're all biased. Every single one
Yeah,
of them. They all have a
absolutely.
slant. They're trying to get you to think the way that they want, that they think. So when you're watching quote unquote news anymore, you have to understand that it's actually entertainment. They're just trying to get ratings. They want you to stay. So they have to drive the contention so that you'll tune in, because there's so many more options for you to consume media now. So I don't even watch TV anymore. I grew up watching the news. We would watch the local news, then we watched the national news, and then we watched the late local news. And I don't know if it's always been that way, but it seems like the last 20 years or so, give or take, who knows, that the news is no longer news. It's just, this is what we're angry about today. And I don't have time. I don't have time for that. So like you and I were talking, I said, look, wouldn't it be better, instead of just putting all our attention and all our energy in butting heads and fighting over the small things that we disagree about? Wouldn't it be better if we could just say, okay, let's shelve that. Let's focus on 99% of the stuff we do agree about, like getting people to work, making sure you're safe, making sure you have health care, making sure nobody goes hungry. You have
Right. Like those things are more important.
right. You have an opportunity to get educated. All that stuff we agree on. We're Americans, dang it. Right. And if you're not from America, you're from wherever you are. And you know what I mean? Like most
if you're not from America, you came here because those values were presented to you, that we had all of that. So that's the reason you're here.
Right. And I think that most of us still feel that way. I think we just let this media crap hype us up and we forget that we're on the same team. So it's like, I am, and we were talking about this yesterday, I am not a big fan of this two major party only. I wish there were more, because it seems like it's always just, well, if they're going to stand here, and we have to be contrary no matter what. So you can go down the litany of everything and go, okay, well, if I hear somebody say make America great again, I have to be pissed off about that. And I'm like, that statement should not piss anybody off. And you know what else shouldn't piss anybody off? Black Lives Matter. We were talking about this yesterday. And then we got into all lives matter and how that's the counterpoint. That's exactly what happened. It's like, no, we can't just let Black Lives Matter, which they do, frankly. To be 100% clear, you know how I feel about that. Right? I believe all life matters. And Black Lives Matters does not contradict the statement that all lives matter. And all lives matter does not contradict the statement that Black Lives Matter. What has happened is we've allowed political organizations to make this political and charge it so that we fight. When in fact, what we're really saying is Black Lives Matter and they're in danger right now. And we'd really like your help in getting them out of danger. Could you wake up to what's really going on? And there's nothing wrong with that statement. And anybody who thinks there is can just drop off if you want, because I'm not going to change my mind. It's important that we recognize that there are things going on in the United States that have been in the underbelly and not exposed to the light of day forever, including the fact that my friend Sabrina, when she's walking down the street, who sees a police officer a block down, is going to have to seriously consider, well, should she cross to the other side of the street or turn around and go home, because she doesn't know what's going through their mind, because she's a Black woman, not because she's a criminal. She's not a criminal. She's a great person. She's got a good heart. That's not right. And we need to fix that. To me, that's what the Black Lives Matters is about. But again, we talked about this yesterday. There's a movement, a political movement that I don't agree with. And I don't agree with the opposite. I think we need to be able to, as Americans, go, I see through the garbage. We need a better filter system where we can identify the manipulation that's being attempted or successfully implemented by these different groups. The media, Fox, CNN, NBC, ABC, I mean, all of them, they all have an agenda. And you just have to understand that as, like, be a smarter consumer. Like, you're having manipulation attempts thrown at you. You can either succumb to them or you can identify them and take it for what it is and go, okay, if I'm going to watch the news, maybe what I should do is watch one episode of CNN and one episode of Fox and get both perspectives, and then use my own mind to figure out which I think is actually happened, which is a shame that we have to do that, because journalism is supposed to be the who, what, when, where, why, and how, and no skew or slant. Here's the facts, you decide. That's what it's supposed to be. But even
somewhere along the line it changed.
Yeah, it isn't that. It's entertainment. And I make videos for a living, right? So I know, I get it.
But I think that, like I said, there are many people that are changing their tune, that are kind of just like in the middle. I remember a distinctive interview that Trump had with a Fox News anchor where he just kind of like started, like, they were talking about some of the facts, and the journalist was like, basically, no, that's wrong. These are the wrong facts. You're saying the wrong thing. And it's just it was funny for me to watch because this is a Fox News person. Fox News is known to be Republican and all of that. So to have somebody that's like, no, this is what's happening. This is wrong. You're being the so it's just like, okay, I watch that and I think there are a lot of people that are just in the middle with it all. And it's just like I believe these few things, and I also believe these few things, and it's just like I just want peace in the world, and that's all.
I think this is part of it for me. The problem with the garbage is that people will tune out, and this is important. Like who we elect is consequential either way. You know what I mean? The policies of the country change based on who's in the White House, whether we like who's in the White House or not. Look, Obama, Bush, Clinton. I mean, you can just go back and forth, and it's like, okay, when each one of those people were running the country, they affected a lot of things. A lot of things. Even some would say too much, because the president, we have a balanced with the courts and with the Congress, right? We have a supposedly checks and balances, which I don't know that we have as much as we used to. But that's a different debate, right? Yeah. Is America really great? We could discuss that later, I guess. But here's the thing. It does matter. But with all the noise, right, and the friction, and I think most people are like you and me, frankly, because we agree on this point. I just want peace and harmony. But I do want it to be not at all costs where it's like, well, we just shut up and we just take it and we allow injustices to happen because we don't want to argue about it. It's like, no, Carl said, stop labeling people black. I mean, here's the honest, you want an honest statement from a white man? I don't know what to call African-Americans anymore. Like, are you from Africa? Isn't that a faulty presumption on some people's parts? And if I say black, am I being offensive? And I have a customer who keeps calling you guys people of color. And I'm like, I don't know about that one. But
yeah, it's all really.
Yeah, what am I supposed to say? Like, I don't want to be I don't want to be offensive.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be what's the word? I don't even know what the word is. I don't want to be a racist. That's not the word I was looking for.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's a whole lot of different things. I think that now, especially a lot of Black people, African American people, people of color, we are investing in, we're becoming very Black proud right now. From like Juneteenth.
Yeah.
We just been like, okay, listen, we're Black and it's like it's real out here. So I find that to be great, but it's just cool like, okay.
I'm cool with that. I think it's great. Like, my dad lives in Ukraine. I do have my family history that I know of, because again, I've got mixed I'm not sure about. But one of them that I do know about is right along that border where it was Ukraine sometimes and Russia sometimes, and I think Czech other times. I don't know. There's another one in there. But the fact is, my dad lives there now. So it's like, I do pay attention to what's happening in Ukraine and Russia more than before. And it's like, I would never say that I'm Ukrainian or I'm Russian. No, you know what I mean? I was born in America and I've never been there. So that would be crazy. But I do get that national heritage pride. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to be from somewhere and claim something. I just think that it's hard when everybody's looking to point a finger in your face and go, you are wrong because of fill in the blank, right? It's easy to do the race thing right now, but it could be anything. It could be sexist. It could be like, a joke gone bad. Like, you know what I mean? This just happened to the president of Liberty University. He was at a costume party and there was a pregnant lady that it's his wife's, I think, employee or something. Anyways, they've known each other a long time. And she was having trouble buttoning her pants. So he stuck his belly out. Like, we've all done it. Like, make yourself have a pot belly. I don't have to try anymore. I just have one. But you know what I mean? Like, my wife, when we had twins, we all used to walk around pushing our bellies out as far as we could. and try to mimic my poor wife who was suffering with them big old twins in her belly. And anyways, that was a joke. It was probably, there's no probably about it. It was in poor taste. He shouldn't have done it. Right. And he's getting punished for it, which is right. It's rightfully so. But like that, it seems like there's more of this desire out there, like a gotcha. Like, okay.
It's a hypersensitivity. It is. It is a hypersensitivity, but I think that, and I think to an extent we've taken it a little far, but I think that the sensitivity has kind of boiled over in a sense, for some issues, not for everything, but for issues like sexism, issues like racism, things like that. Yeah. We've had the underbelly of this for so long. Right. So once something happens, it's just like, okay, we're exploding. And once we come out swinging. And that's just what it is.
No, I get it. I totally get it.
And going back to the job seekers piece of it, when you are on social media and you post certain things and your employer looks at those things and now they don't want to hire you.
Yep. Yeah, what are we supposed to say? Look, we could talk about that for a couple of minutes because I do want people to understand. But okay, with job seeking in social media, whether you like it or not, you just have to understand that you're under a microscope now that you've never been under before, right? So I don't care if it's your Facebook or your Instagram or your Twitter or your Pinterest, whatever it is, you need to stay away from anything sexual, anything. You need to stay away from anything political, anything, because you don't want to not get hired. Because even if the employer agrees with your positions, their clients might not. And everybody, whether they like to admit it or not, you have a component of your business that's in sales because you have a product, good, or service that you offer that you need people to consume to keep your doors open. So they have to be careful who they hire because they can come down on them too. Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you guys would hire, whatever. So there are true injustices in the world. And racism is one of those that it's worth fighting the fight. So we need to fight that fight, but we don't have to be angry about it, right? What we need to do is we need to just expose it. The light, you can't have darkness where light is present, right? So we just need more light everywhere, right? So when you see it, I saw something, this is completely off topic, but I'll tie it in. I saw something about pedophilia on Facebook, and it was like one of those aha moments. You want to know how you end pedophilia in the world? You start calling it out at home. That dad, that uncle, that brother, that grandpa, whoever that did it to you. That's the whole thing. That did it to you, and you don't admit it, and you don't call them out on it and make them, you're right? Starts right there.
Yeah. Everything, honestly, everything starts at home. Honestly, it really does.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
How you learn, what your response is. We got the what happens at home stays at home mantra, in our heads, and so we kind of, and we're loyal, we protect the family, we stay close together, all those things. But sometimes, those people can hurt you. It's not everybody's experience, and so. But like I said, I never deny somebody else's experience just because it's not my experience.
Right. And it's okay. You said this at the very beginning, right? It's okay to disagree.
Right.
If I'm looking for somebody who only acts like me, who thinks like me, who has the same worldview as me, who has the same experience as me, it's going to be a very lonely view. Because even my brother, and I'm going to tie this in too, because this will help you guys. It'll let you know about my brother. So my brother is white, because same parents. So he's white, but he is the extreme. Like we are polar opposites on just about everything. He's gay. He's a homosexual man. Okay. He's not single. He has a life partner, but he has no children. Like I'm married with 8 kids. You know what I mean? So my brother came out about his sexuality in high school. So up to that point, like I had no clue. This to me was like, because I wasn't even thinking about it. You know what I mean? But I felt so bad. It opened my eyes because up to that point, so I grew up in sports and I grew up in a different era where making fun of homosexuality was normal. Like
Right.
it was considered a slur to be called gay or whatever, right? You wouldn't do that now. Most people are smarter than that. We've evolved, which is great. And I hope that same
Some of us have evolved. Let's not clump us all together, because some
all right,
people
all right. Well,
on
let's just
here
say
ain't right.
all right, Ira has evolved. Okay, and I hope
Right.
the rest of the world does. I think that we've come farther with that than we have with race relations, honestly. Right? If I'm just being completely open about how I
Right.
from my perch, it seems like we are more open to the sexual preferences or whatever you want to call it, because I don't want to offend anybody. But it is what it is. There's been progress there. But before that, like I would call people gay, meaning you're weak or whatever. And I was hurting my brother. I didn't even know it. I didn't even
Right.
know because I didn't know. You know what I mean? And then when that revelation came out where he told us all, and he started out with the expression, what is that where you're like both bisexual.
Uh-huh.
He started that way. And then
Yeah.
and then after we got comfortable with that, he's like, actually, I don't like girls at all. I just like boys. Like, okay, whatever. I don't know the difference anymore. But
Well,
but at that point, it helped me. It opened my eyes, right? Like this is the one thing that I wish that everybody could have this attitude. It's like think about the world from his point of view, which I never did before because I probably would have noticed it. I mean, how do you live with somebody and not know their preference like that? I mean, that's a major thing. You know what I
I
mean? And
mean,
all
it happens all the time, and people, they hide it for a good reason. I mean, the amount of kids that become homeless as soon as they come out it's astounding. It's really disheartening to to watch this, to hear that kids get kicked out of their homes because they just like a person.
yeah.
That shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be the case that you're disowned for who you love. At the end of the day, it's just
No doubt about it.
frustrating.
All right. Well, we're getting close to the end of our show here. So I want to give you an opportunity to talk about this blog that you're going to be writing and the idea behind it. So you're a job seeker, you're passionate about music, and you have an eye towards entrepreneurship. So we came up with an idea. I don't know if you're going to use it or not. I don't know if we want to say it. I'll let you decide if we want to actually say it. But anyways, the reason why I want to talk about it is one of the things that you job seekers out there can do to help meet new people is you can start to do some of the stuff that Sabrina's doing. She's reaching out on social media. She's making posts. She's making comments. She's engaging. Don't just read people's posts and throw a like or share their post. Make comments because that allows people to get to know you. Like I see Sabrina now on social media all the time, right? And I'm looking for her, but you know what I mean? That's because we got to know each other. So I want you guys to do the same thing. I want you to make comments on these posts. When you take the time to read a post, I want to make a comment. Say hi. Say something, right? If you're reading somebody's posts every day and you never make a comment, they don't even know you exist. But
Right.
it's not just about the person that wrote the post. It's also about all the other people that are reading the comments of that post that you can meet too. Like there's some of my friends that are in these comments right now, right? And the comments have kind of got, they're kind of off track a little bit, so I'm not putting them all up. But there's people watching from all around the world. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, right? So you can watch us in a variety of spots all over the world. Pardon me, I have to sneeze. I don't know when it's going to go. I don't know what it is. I spent some time outside yesterday, and now I'm sneezing. So thank God for the mute button. But like your blog is just an extension of that. So you're going to give people an opportunity to see your heart, to see your mind, which is beautiful, and get to know you better so that, maybe it'll help you find a job. I think it's going to help you throughout your whole career. We actually talked about it as an entrepreneur. If you ever do open your own website, we can go in and put those backlinks to your website. We can infuse those back in to your blogs, and that'll help you get more exposure on the internet. So there's a lot of advantages to the blog. So, do you want to talk about what you're going to write about?
Okay. So basically, well, I'm obviously in the midst of job seeking mode, so that's going to be one of the topics that I write about that I think that will be good. I'm a huge music person, so I'll be probably. I love watching music reviews, so doing them myself are going to be very interesting. And just I think it's gonna be a lifestyle type of thing. I want people to I like I said I love representation, so I want to grow with a subset of people. I think, and I think that growth and that expansion in thought, every
Yeah.
year, your mind changes for something. You have different ideas, you have different thoughts, but your core still remains the same. So in general, just walking in that, I think the hesitation for most people when they start doing things entrepreneurially for themselves, like, okay, well, are people gonna like it? What if because like I said, the social media piece and how that comes back to bite you. The reason I can probably do a little bit more when it comes to I am active on like LinkedIn and Facebook and things like that, but it's like you don't want you're so scared of social media at some point because it's like, okay, cancel culture is real, and people will clearly stop you because of something you did 2 or 3 years ago. So that's kind of just a little bit of a like, okay, let's be careful with this. Let's
Well,
what subjects do we talk about, what not.
Let me talk about that a little bit, because there is this saturation reality too, though. If you have posted 3 things over 5 years, and one of those 3 things can be found offensive in any manner, there's not much to go on, so you're just taken as offensive. But if you post 1,000 things over 5 years, and one of those things can be found offensive, you will probably be given more the benefit of the doubt, because your total body of work shows your heart. So I guarantee you, if you go through my post history, you'll find something that you're like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's enough other stuff that shows people Ira's heart. So I will say this: more is better, as long as it isn't you're tuning up the hate. Don't be hateful. Always be nice. In
Right.
social media, you could almost say anything as long as you do it politely, right? And then the other thing is, if you're using humor, this is something that I've learned. If you're using humor, make sure that you put a ha ha or a smiley face or something, so people at least have the clue that you were just joking. Because people have lost the ability to identify humor on social media, right? Like, if you read a sentence, people are reading it as a sentence. They're not reading it with any context, because, like even when we're on video and I make a joke, you get it easier because you can see my face, you can hear my inflection, all that stuff. When you're just reading it, you don't have any non-visual clue. You don't have any inflection clue. There's no environmental clue. You're just reading it. So you got to point it out so that people don't go back, wow, Ira is a butthole, because I read that and Ira was being sarcastic, trying to be funny, but you didn't know, right? And so there's that. But to my point and to your point, people will go back and review your history. So make sure you have enough of it that is good, especially if you've made a mistake already and you want to help atone for it, if you will. First of all, the one thing that you can do with this, the easiest way to get a skeleton out of the closet is to open the door. Right. Like, I can never go back and unring the bell for all the time I was disrespectful to my brother's sexuality before I knew about it. Right. I don't have a time machine. So my brother will tell you, over the last 25 years or so that I've known, that he's gay, I've been one of his biggest supporters, advocates. I love my brother. I support him 100%. So I don't live the lifestyle, but I'll support him in any way that I can, as long as it doesn't go against my personal beliefs, which he and I do talk about, and he knows where I stand, because I'm a Bible believer, which is becoming more and more rare too, I guess. But it is what it is. So I don't apologize for my faith, but as long as
but like, it goes back to what we said earlier. You agree to disagree. You agree to
And it's
disagree,
okay.
and you can still support people and not have the same exact agreement on
Yeah.
lifestyle or choices. We have differences. It's fine. I don't think that should not negate the biggest rule, which is to love everybody.
That's right. That there's no qualification there. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. So my brother and I on politics, everything. I mean, every single thing we disagree. We are the opposite sides of the fence. So from our family, everybody's going to get at least one vote. You know what I mean? And it's actually funny because our family is kind of like that. We have. It's almost like you got to be careful at family get-togethers.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna lose it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you don't bring up politics at family dinner. It's
hey, in our house, we just leave politics and religion on the shelf, and we have a good time.
Yeah.
So it is. Anyways, anything else you want to say before we go? We're gonna wrap this thing up and head on out the door because
Well, thank you for pushing me to do this. This is not something that I would normally do. A year ago, you would never have got me on any type of live anything.
6 months ago, no, not even 3 months ago, because I asked you. We had that conversation, when this thing.
I was at least thinking about it then, but I was just like, nah.
Yeah.
So thank you for the push.
Yeah, I think people got to see you today. You know what I mean? And this will get seen by probably 10,000 people. So it'll be good.
Oh boy.
It's some exposure for you. I think the conversation is one that needs to happen more and more, right? Where people we didn't argue at all. We don't agree on everything. You and I know that, but we respect each other in a variety of ways, and we have civil discourse. And like I said, conversations that I've had with you have opened my mind, right? Like I'm not talking about, I'm talking to you about stuff that's opened my mind. I mean, talking to you has opened my mind. So it's been good for me. So I appreciate it. I hope somebody hires you. If they don't, I will eventually. But I hope someone snaps you up before that. I'm telling you guys, this is a very talented lady who will help your organization in a variety of ways. She's smart. She's hardworking. She is easy to get along with. And again, she can think outside herself, which is so rare. Anyways, follow me Friday. Now, in case you haven't watched Follow Me Live before, when I end this show, I actually will start Follow Me Friday. So you go #follow me. You can see it there. It's on the bottom of the screen. It's Follow Me Friday. There is a space between the two. The reason why I do that is because the live and the text posts can be found with the same hashtag. Okay, but it's Follow Me Friday. The point of it is not to grow my network. Trust me, I'm doing okay with that on my own. I'm here to help you gain more followers. The reason why I do follow me instead of connection is, a lot of people don't know this, there's a limit to how many people you can connect with on every platform. So you can follow as many as you want. So view their profile, hit the follow button, then go in the comments and say, hey, I followed you. Would you follow me back? I promise you it'll work for you. Sabrina, thank you so much. I'm going to turn on the music.
Thank you.
We'll boogie on out the dope. And this music is fun, right?
Oh, okay. So it's disco.
Come on. This is YouTube approved music. That's why I picked
it. Okay. There's more out there, so.
Come on. All right, my friend. I'll see you later.
Bye.